Dear students, I welcome you on behalf of Thakur Vidya Mandir High School and Junior College for the remote teaching learning process, where our motto is let learning be a joy and teaching a pleasure. Let us move towards part 3 of chapter number 5, that is deposits, wherein today we are going to understand the procedure for acceptance of deposits from public. In our previous video, we already studied about the terms and conditions, that is the rules and regulations which are required to accept the deposits. In today's video, we are going to understand and move towards a second question, that is explain the procedure for accepting deposits from public. As discussed earlier, an eligible public company can accept deposits from public. However, it needs to follow the below mentioned procedure while accepting deposits from public. Firstly, the company needs to conduct board meeting so that it can pass a resolution to accept deposits from public. The board meeting is also held to take decision on matters like details of amount to be accepted, terms and conditions related to issue of deposits, etc. Further, the company also needs to arrange general meeting, that is meeting of shareholders. So, accordingly, even the date and time of such general meeting is decided in the board meeting. The shareholders' general meeting is necessary as the company has to obtain approval of shareholders for collecting deposits from the public. After board meeting, next is conduct of general meeting of shareholders as per the date and time which is decided in the board meeting. As discussed in the first point, this general meeting is conducted basically to get approval of shareholders for accepting deposits. For getting such approval, a special resolution is required to be passed, that is, at least 75% of majority must be in favor of accepting deposits from the public. Further, a copy of the special resolution must be filed with the Registrar of Companies, and sometimes it must be filed even with Reserve Bank of India if needed. The third step involves holding of board meeting once again. After getting approval from shareholders in general meeting, once again a board meeting is conducted to approve the draft of advertisement. As discussed earlier, if a company invites public to deposit its money, then in such a case it needs to publish advertisement in one leading English newspaper and one vernacular newspaper of the state in which the registered office of the company is located. But before publication of such an advertisement, a draft, that is a rough copy of advertisement, is prepared, and this draft advertisement must be approved by the board of directors. It is for this purpose that again a board meeting is held. Further, advertisement must include all necessary information as needed under the Act. Lastly, draft of advertisement must be signed by majority of directors of the company. The next step involves appointment of banker. Once the advertisement is published, the investors who are interested will start depositing their money with the company. Thus, in order to receive this money, the company needs to appoint bankers. Thus, these bankers are basically appointed so that they can receive application money from the applicants along with the deposit money. The next step is related to obtaining credit rating. As discussed earlier, it is compulsory for a company inviting deposits to obtain credit rating for its deposits. Thus, company thereby needs to obtain credit rating from recognized credit agencies like CRISIL, CARE, etc. Lastly, it needs to mention about credit rating which it has obtained in the advertisement inviting deposits. The next step involves appointment of deposit trustee. We have already learned that while issuing secured deposits, eligible public companies have to appoint one or more deposit trustees as they protect the interest of depositor in case a company makes default in repaying the depositors. Further, the company signs a contract with the deposit trustee which is called as deposit trust deed. This deposit trust deed contains terms and conditions which are decided between the company and the deposit trustees. Lastly, the deposit trust deed needs to be signed at least before 7 days of issuing the advertisement to the public. Without being signed, it does not have any validity. Let us now move towards the seventh step, which is taking deposit insurance. As discussed in terms and conditions related to acceptance of deposits, it is necessary for a company accepting deposit to take deposit insurance. For this purpose, the company enters into an agreement with the insurance company. This agreement or contract must specify that if company makes any default in payment of principal amount or interest thereof, then the insurer, that is the insurance company, will be liable to repay the amount to depositors. Lastly, this agreement must be signed at least before 30 days of issuing advertisement to general public. The eighth step is related to filing a copy of advertisement with the Registrar of Companies. The Companies Act provides that a company is required to file a copy of its advertisement with Registrar of Companies before its publication in newspaper. However, once the copy of advertisement is filed, it can then publish the advertisement but only after a period of 30 days of such filing with the Registrar of Companies. The next step involves issue of advertisement to public. The company, in order to invite the general public, needs to issue advertisement. However, the advertisement can be issued only after a period of 30 days from its filing with Registrar of Companies. Further, the company needs to publish advertisement in one of the leading English newspaper as well as one of the vernacular newspaper which has wide circulation, that is wide coverage, in the state where the company's registered office is located. Now, the term vernacular here means the language which is spoken by the ordinary people in a particular region. For example, in the state of Maharashtra, Marathi is considered to be the local language, and accordingly, if company is situated in the state of Maharashtra, then it needs to give advertisement in Marathi newspapers like Lokmat, Loksatta, etc. Thus, in order to give advertisement, it is necessary that such an advertisement has to be given in English newspaper as well as a local language newspaper. After publication of advertisement in English newspaper and vernacular newspaper, the next step is to upload the advertisement on company's website. In today's present time, where we find a lot of technological advancement, even companies have their own website wherein they are supposed to upload their advertisement. Thus, it is now necessary for companies that along with physical form of advertisement, that is publishing advertisement in newspaper, even electronic way of advertisement has to be done, and as such it involves uploading of advertisement on company's website. The next 11th step is related to collection of application form and money. Once the advertisement reaches the public, all those investors who are interested to deposit their money with the company will start submitting application forms along with the deposit money. For this purpose, the company then informs its official bankers to collect application form from the applicants along with the deposit money. The next step involves issuing of deposit receipt. As discussed earlier, deposit receipt is an evidence which is given to the depositor, thereby indicating the fact that company has borrowed certain amount of money from him or her as a loan. However, the deposit receipt must be issued within a period of 21 days from the date of receipt of such money. On the other hand, if the company accepts check, then in such case, deposit receipt must be issued within a period of 21 days from the date of actual realization of check amount. That is when the amount actually gets transferred into the company's bank account. The next step is creating charge on assets of company. As discussed earlier, a company issuing secured deposits needs to create a charge on assets of company in order to protect the interest of depositors. Thus, the company by creating charge on assets assures the depositors that in case if in future it is unable to pay the principal amount, then it would sell this assets on which charge has been created and thus pay the amount back to the depositors. However, this charge has to be created within a period of 30 days of acceptance of deposits. The next step is related to making entries in Register of Deposits. The Companies Act specifies that it is compulsory for companies accepting deposits to maintain a separate statutory book called as Register of Deposits. The company secretary is thereby required to enter complete details of deposit, that is, name and address of depositor, amount of deposit, interest rate, etc. in the Register of Deposits. However, the details need to be entered within a period of 7 days from the date of issue of deposit receipt. Lastly, the entries made in the register need to be verified, that is, it must be checked by an officer who is given the authority or power to do so. By doing so, it will be ensured that all the details have been properly entered in Register of Deposits. The last step related to the procedure for accepting deposits from public is filing of return of deposits with the Registrar of Companies. As discussed earlier, return of deposit means to provide complete detailed information relating to deposits as prescribed by the Companies Act in a specified format. Thus, every company accepting deposits must file return of deposits before 30th June every year. This written must include the details of deposit with the company as on 31st March. So with this, we have completed all the 15 steps which are involved in the procedure for accepting deposits from public. Thank you, dear children, for your patience listening.